Nat Traeger, CEO of the Kingston District Council. Good to have you back with us on Flow.
Hello, Rikki and listeners. Nice to be back again.
And it sounds like there's something in the wind in Kingston, if we can believe the media reports. A wind farm might be setting up offshore.
Yes, love your pun. Apparently so, yes. We've known about the project for probably a couple of weeks, Rikki, but we certainly haven't, shared that knowledge with the community or the media. But certainly there is a link on a public website called SA Offshore Wind Farm, and there was a story, run through the media during the week. So absolutely, they're in the pre-planning stage for a $1.75 billion project, about 10 k's offshore from Kingston, but there would be a lot of water under the bridge to go, I would assume.
Yeah, and so how many turbines is that potentially going to involve?
It's talking about 75 wind turbine generators, and of the three that are proposed by this particular developer, this is the only one in South Australia. They're also proposing one in WA and Victoria, but this is the largest one of the three that this particular company, Australis, is proposing.
Now, when it comes to, say, the infrastructure demand, I know it's early days, but feeding that energy into the grid, is there going to be an expectation Council contributes in some way to that?
Look, the only direct contact we've had from the proponent is the introductory of the project and encouraging us to look for opportunities to, partner with them. But that'll be more so about community development. I would expect that there would be no partnership or co-investment contributions into the actual infrastructure itself.
But would there be theoretically some benefit economically to the council and the community from having the farm offshore there?
Oh, look, totally. It's been indicated that the actual construction period would be for 2 years, and during the construction period there'd be 800 people employed, and then ongoing operationally 100 thereafter, just to keep the infrastructure up and running. So there's absolutely no doubt. And of course we don't have an offshore wind farm at all in Australia, so I know that, I love a normal wind farm that's on land, so I can only imagine that it will be a tourist draw card. There's no doubt about that. So we would also be looking at opportunities around our own coastal infrastructure, and your listeners would be fully aware that we're a very small council with, $3.9 million general rate revenue and a coastal repair bill that far exceeds that. So we would assume that an offshore wind farm would be looking for boat launching facilities, boat mooring facilities. They're going to have to be servicing the employees who are looking after the operations. It's my understanding that those 100-odd maintenance employees potentially do live offshore in a large vessel, so they would need to be serviced some way. But there would be absolutely no doubt that a $1.75 billion project in a small community like Kingston would have significant, far-reaching, probably not even fathomable yet, economic benefits for our community.
So you mentioned this has sort of been in the wind, there I go again, for a couple of weeks or whatever. What's been the extent of contact from the proponent with the council? I mean, is it something they've come to you looking for any sort of collaboration or involvement, or was it just notification that a proposal had been put in at a state level?
Yeah, it was. It was a very friendly letter addressed to myself, and it was really just introducing the project and giving us direction as to who we would speak to and who we could contact, but also obviously a link to the project online. So we've sort of started doing our research now. So yeah, just a general introductory. And this size project, of course, would be very little that council would do in terms of any regulatory things like building and planning approval. We would be a referral agent, there's no doubt about that, but something this large certainly wouldn't come across our desk for approval.
Well, I'm guessing your geographical boundary doesn't extend out into the ocean too far, so in that sense you don't have a direct say, but you probably have a few things to say about elements of the project.
Yeah, so you're right, in terms of the turbines are in South Australian waters offshore, but of course once it leaves the shore component, it's got to go into the electricity network. So there are some then on-ground infrastructure about how that energy gets from the seabed into the electricity network, and they are indicating that these will be generating enough power to supply the equivalent of over 400,000 South Australian homes each year for the life of the project. So it's obviously quite a significant infrastructure project. So it's not just the offshore, it's also the onshore component as well.
And just, I'm not terribly conversant on the environmental side, what the local species are there, but from memory, there's a bit of a gannet colony in the locality. Is that something council might want to have something to say about what impact turbines could have on that?
Yeah, I think the gannet colony that you're referring to is probably on in the vicinity of where the old Cape Jaffa Lighthouse was. So the infrastructure that housed the old Cape Jaffa Lighthouse is still at sea. It's now home to a gannet colony. But, I've sort of been doing a bit of a look around online, and there is some environmental reports already done that lists a series of species. So obviously, lobster is one, of course, because
Yes.
there is a lobster here, and Kingston is home to a commercial fishing fleet, Kingston and Cape Jaffa. So absolutely no doubt that council will be keenly interested in any of those environmental issues as well. And I guess we need to remember that is absolutely a factor, but the purpose of this is to create green power. And also not to mention the economic benefit or windfall that we've just talked about as well. So certainly council will be considering all elements as they're put to them.
Well, Nat Traeger, thanks for joining us on Flow talking about this. It'll be something I think we'll be regularly talking about in our chats with you on Country Viewpoint.
Excellent. Thank you, Rikki. Nice to speak to you again.